Okay, what I've got here is a 1000-watt light. Just got it in. It's in a nice box like this. I'm going to show you how to set it up. And the other thing is a couple of maybe tricks that you may not have thought of, or maybe some of you guys have. But these come with a protective styrofoam cover on the end, which is great. But the problem is you get all kinds of bits of styrofoam in there. And you can go through and try to wipe them out, but as you know, with static electricity, it's a pain. So what I've done is I take my shop vac and I just vacuum everything off, and it really works out well. And like you can see all those little bits, you don't want to turn these lights on, they get extremely hot, and with all that styrofoam in there, you're just going to melt it, make a mess. Same thing with the hood. The hood comes in parts. This will end up getting put together, so you have your ends, and then this will get attached onto the to the cool tube. This is a 6-inch, it's a 1000-watt 6-inch cool tube, and you would basically be able to hook up some inline ducting later to vent the light, to vent some of the heat, so that you're not getting all the heat in your room. I don't do that right now. I just have mine so they actually heat up my rooms, and then I vent the room itself independently based on the temperature of the whole room. So you could do it a bunch of different ways. So even like on this here, you get all this styrofoam, little bits and pieces, and you could go through and try to pick that off. But if you just turn on a shop vac, suck it all right off. It's perfectly clean. This particular piece doesn't have any of the protective film on it. But when you buy these, sometimes you'll get this film. It can be blue or pink or whatever color. You definitely want to take this off before you start up your lights. This will bake right onto there and it'll just be a mess. Could also be a fire hazard. So basically just pull it off, clean up the little bits, and like that. Throw this away, it's trash, and we'll use that. So I'll start putting together some of this and clean it up first probably, and then put it together and show you a few of the steps along the way. They're pretty easy to put together. They come with a bag of hardware, all the different nuts and bolts. These angle brackets are to just make the make these corners a little more rigid. So you can put those angle brackets in there, just stiffens them up. And when we get done, it'll look just like this. So there's the same cool tube, all cleaned out, and there's the hood. And so I'm going to be, this one here, this is going to be my flowering room. So I've got this tube, this 1000-watt, put another one right beside it, another one right beside that. So this room will be pretty well set to go, and it's all, this is a new room I just built. There'll be plenty of room to walk around. Unfortunately, I came in here with my boots and it's a little bit dirty, but the nice thing about this is it keeps the room clean and be able to sweep up. Some people may not put plastic on the bottom on the floor, but it's not necessary as far as the light or the plants go. It's just really nice to be able to clean up the room. You can easily sweep this up, come in here with a mop, disinfect the room, and just keep everything clean so that it leads to less problems down the road. So I'm going to put that other hood together and maybe take a few shots along the way, give you a video of that, and I've got another couple things I'll be working on today as far as hooking up a switch, a timer switch that will actually run multiple lights on one switch, and I'll do a tutorial on that and some of the wiring and get that uploaded. Stay tuned. Okay, I've got all the pieces sorted out. These are my 4 corners, a whole bunch of nuts and bolts, and I'll show you how this starts to go together. It's just there's a million of these pieces, so it's just repetition. But basically, you take the end panel, taking the plastic off. I haven't vacuumed this yet, so there still might be some styrofoam on here. It's no big deal. I'll get it after. This end panel goes like this, and you just basically line up these holes like that one there. And this is just, you know, aluminum, so it's pretty light stuff, and if you need to, you can bend it around and force it into place. Sometimes the two most difficult ones are right here, because a lot of times this crease, you may have to bend it a little more to get it lined up. We'll see what happens when we get there. But I just basically use a screwdriver on your fingers, and it's not like these have to be torqued down to any specification. Just make sure they're on there tight. And we'll see. That's all right. That's it. Try to do this quickly. It's kind of monotonous, but anyway. Occasionally you get some with no threads. There's a nice... Okay, so this is coming into the trickier of the ones on here to do. This one usually goes pretty good. See, it's lined up. See how well this one lines up. This one's usually the worst one of the whole setup. So I just gotta force that one in there a little bit. There. That's usually the worst one. The other ones will line up pretty good. And in case you're wondering, this particular light I bought from HPS growlightstore.com. I don't work for them or have anything to do with them, just pass along the information. And these are, you know, it's a pretty basic setup, but they do work well. I haven't had any problems other than I've got a few more of these 1000 watters, and I did have some bulbs that just prematurely failed, and they replaced them, no problem, no questions asked. They sent me out some new ones. So the only thing I might suggest is that if you are going to run, you know, whatever light it is, to have, you know, at least one bulb as a backup, because even though they sent me out some replacements, I was still, unfortunately, down for a little while, which really is kind of a pain, especially if, you know, if that's the only light you have, and that's really bad. But I had some other backups that I could use, but, you know, so everybody's in a different situation, or, you know, what have you, so... Okay, almost done this side. I've done a few of these, so it definitely goes a little quicker, but it's not really terrible. It's just there's so many damn screws to put in that it takes a while. if you look in some of my other videos, you'll see I've got some of these running. I've got one over a flood tray, 4x4 foot flood tray with some auto flowers in it. I've got one that's finishing up budding some other plants that I have, some auto flowers. These lights are going to be going in to set up to finish off some photo strains that I have. So I'm at the point now I'm going to do a corner, and what I usually do is I get it started on one side and then usually finesse the other side into so that it works. I guess the first time you do these corners, they're a little bit tricky just because, you see, you got to kind of go around and work them in. They don't always line up perfectly out of the right at first, but they go together. Okay, here you go. Okay, so there's a corner. You can see how that really tightens that right up. I've got this whole side done. I'll finish this corner, put on that other end panel, and then it'll be ready to go into the flowering room after I clean it off to attach this right to the cool tube, and I'll show you how that works just in a minute. Okay, back in the flowering room, and I've got got the hood. It's all done, all cleaned off, assembled, ready to go. And here's the cool tube that we just saw earlier. And what I've done is I've got it attached up above, and I have these ratchet straps. These definitely, I mean, they're only like 10 or 12 bucks, but will definitely make your life a lot easier instead of trying to tie a rope and figure out if you've got it, you know, the right height or a little bit off. You just simply pull these up to adjust it. Pull this little button here, lower them down, lock them in. Very simple. I've just got this to a level that's going to make it easier for me to work on and to install the hood. This one over here is already done. This one I did earlier. And you can see basically we're going to attach it with a screw here, one on this side, and on the same on the other side. That will make it so the reflector of the hood is attached to the cool tube, and then it's ready for wiring. I'm going to do another video shortly after, which will go over. I'm going to have a four switch for the power to control up to 4 lights. I'm going to run these on 240 volts, and my ballast will either take 120 or 240. I'm going to run these on 240 just to keep the amp load as low as I can. I'll show you a video on how to hook that up, but I'm trying to position these. These have a fairly long cord, so you can actually reach, and this is actually just the first cord. The second, this goes into the ballast, and out of the ballast you still have another cord, so you really could stretch these quite a ways out and still make your connection. So that's one of the nice things about these lights. Which I'll probably will have that box located somewhere along this wall. Right out through that wall there is where my sub panel is, And like I said, I'll go through wiring that up in a separate video, just in case it's something you guys are interested in doing yourself. Pretty simple. And that's about it. So now I've got a couple of things with these hoods. Basically, this is just going to slide on like that. I'm going to line up those holes there and put a screw through it. These also come with these cables which you can attach through the same holes like this, and then this you could actually clip onto this. I like this connection point, it's a little bit better, but I throw these cables also on this clip just as a backup. It'll never end up needing it, but it's there, so I might as well use it. And that looks like this when it's done. So let's go ahead and hook up one of these, show you how that works, and that's going to be basically it for setting up these 1000-watt lights. It's a relatively simple process. Just, you know, kind of keep it clean, keep the all those little pieces of styrofoam and so forth off the hoods. These are going to get really hot really soon, and that's about it. Not going to crank them right down just yet, just in case I have to move this hood around, the reflector, just to get everything lined up. Okay, so we got that on there. Basically just going to clip this just as an extra. I'm going to come back and tighten those up after, but I'll get the other side on. And that's about it. That'll be 2,000-watt lights. I may move this one over. Obviously I'll even them up, but they don't have to be. I may move this particular light over one more stud, but I'll turn them on and see, but I'll get a good, you know, there'll be a good cross of light from these two. So even having plants in here, they're still going to be right under these lights. I'll probably end up having 4 or 5 under each of these 1000-watters, and then leaving some space so I can get here on the back side, in between them, and in the front there'll be plenty of room to work on them, water them, clip them, tie them down or up, whatever it needs to be. So that's about it. Hope you enjoyed it, and like I said, coming up I'm going to do another video on actually wiring the ballasts up to that controller, show you all the different components for that, and should be neat. Thank you.